have one further question, which I meant to ask, and it's my fault, do forgive me. At the time you received your divorce, well, the decree absolute,
yes,
final divorce order, did you sign a financial agreement of any kind, a final financial agreement?
No, Judge, no.
Not at all?
Not at all.
That wasn't dealt with?
No.
Philippa, Michael. Philippa, you bring this case, and it's a slightly complicated one. What you effectively say is during the course of your marriage, you weren't prepared to invest in a property. That was your husband's idea. And he invested the vast majority of it, and he needed a little bit of a top-up at the end, and you said, fine, but that's a loan, and I want it back. Well, that happened when you were married. You subsequently got divorced. You never obtained a final financial order. You said, well, that's a loan, and I want the money back. You've got the property in Cyprus. I just want what I put in. And you want this court to enforce that. And you're so desperate for it to be enforced because you're concerned that you'll never get your money, that you're prepared to take £7,000 less than you would otherwise be entitled to in law. And you've done various things. The last thing you've done to protect yourself is to ensure that Michael has written a codicil, a little clause in his will saying that when he ends up elsewhere, that any money in respect of that villa or his estate or his property will go to you. But even that, you're concerned, doesn't adequately protect you. The word protection is very important because I, as a judge in this case, have to be very mindful that you must be protected. That's especially important because you don't come here with legal assistance. And I have to be incredibly careful that you don't do anything which is going to prejudice your chances of obtaining the full sum elsewhere. And B, you don't accept a lesser amount in circumstances where you may have a realistic case to bring against Michael for the full sum. Do you see?
Yes.
In my judgment, Philippa, you are in difficulty in this court persuading me, as you'd have to do, that this was a separate loan completely free of the marriage. It wasn't. What happened was you gave him £12,000, but consequently, you, madam, are a co- and potentially joint owner of a property worth in excess now of £100,000. If I were to interfere with what happened in the course of your divorce, I could very possibly interfere with an application that you may wish to bring in another court for substantially more than I could award. It would be inappropriate for me to make a ruling here for two reasons. Firstly, because it seems to me from what you have told me that you don't have a final financial order in respect of your divorce. There is no time limit on bringing that claim. With a little bit of legal advice, you could go and resolve this elsewhere. And I suspect, with a bit of agreement, could find another remedy. Secondly, because it seems to me that you have some protection in respect of the £12,000 in the form of a will, which Michael has declared in public he will not change. Now, whether he does or doesn't, I don't give a ruling about. I just have to be concerned that you are likely to have, or may have a chance, of getting this money in a different way. Consequently, it would be wrong of this court, problematic and abusive, that's the word in law I would use, of this court to award you £7,000 less than a greater sum you might be entitled to. And I'm not confident, based upon the submissions that you've made, based upon the various promises I'm confident took place here, and based upon the fact that you appear on the face of it to have a legal right in a property worth a substantial amount, to award you only the £5,000 and to give a judgment today. Consequently, for legal and technical reasons, I dismiss your case. I say to you, Michael, if it's possible, that it would be beneficial to all concerned to find a way, even if the money needed to be borrowed against the value of the house, to pay Philippa this sum so she could disappear. However, if that is not possible, Philippa, my strong advice to you is to get to a qualified family lawyer, explain there wasn't a final financial order, and seek to enter a negotiation with Michael where I suspect, bearing in mind how open to this he has been in the past, this could be resolved. One way this might be resolved is by doing something rather straightforward, such as him making clear that you are no longer a joint owner of the property, but that you have a charge on it. That means in the event that he were to sell it, you would be the first person above anybody else who would get the money. Do you see?
Yes.
But I am certainly not going to prejudice you by putting you in a position where you are going to walk away from my court £7,000 poorer than you probably should be. For that reason, I dismiss your case and advise you in the strongest possible terms to move this forward. Understood?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you very much for coming today. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
5th time lucky. Very much.
Thank you.
Don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.